Yo, yo. What's the dang on deal, man? It's definitely been a minute. Definitely been a minute. But I'm back, man, right before preseason starts, and we got some good things to talk about. Really, today, man, we just going to focus on training camp. We're going to go through and we're going to talk about standouts and the people that I'm not so impressed by. It's not a huge list of the losers, but it is a solid list of the winners. And we're going to talk about worries, my worries personally. So let's get into it. Without further ado, we're going to start off with our offense. So when I think about Dak, when I look at Dak, when I look at training camp, the best way to kind of sum that up is it's a winner situation. Mainly because Dak looks comfortable. The new offense seems to be working. And the huge thing that we're going to speak about is the offensive line right now. To me, it's not complete. So, with that being said, with the offense being able to still make things happen, still make things shake, with the receiver core right now, it looks beautiful. There's chemistry. I feel like last year was a lot of Dak really could only rely on CeeDee Lamb, and it was letting the young cats get in there and try to show what they can do. And that's pretty much all he had weapon-wise. We know Michael Gallup was there, but we also know Michael Gallup was pretty much favoring or dealing with an injury the whole freaking season. Hence why he went and had surgery right after. So just to sum up Dak real quick, man, he looks like he's enjoying the game yet again. He looks good out there. He looks solid. Another way to put it is it's Mike McCarthy calling the plays, but it's definitely Dak's offense, man. Dude's definitely running that offense. So I like it. Regardless of whatever Mike McCarthy and the offensive staff is doing with the new offense, let's just make it very clear that is being done with Dak. So thumbs up to QB. Yeah, he threw a few interceptions during the training camp whole period. But we'll talk about that. It's not something I'm upset with Dak about at all. That's more so when we get over to the bad side. Like I said, the bad list is not really big on any level. So to the next person, Deuce Vaughn. Standout, that's a winner with training camp for a few reasons. Deuce Vaughn, obviously he's newly drafted in, rookie status. But he looks like he is shifty. The dude will be somebody dangerous, and he'll be a gap shooter. The word and the whole hype about him being able to hide behind the line, it is real. Today, though, I did see there was a goal line set up, man, and they stopped him on the goal line. But, if we being 100% honest, I'm not sure why we would have him running a goal line play anyway. He's a tiny back. I don't want him to be used to try to push through a small gap for 1 yard of the goal line when the defense is packed up and looking for the middle to be stuffed. And again, that's another thing we'll talk about when we get over to the bad. But wide receivers, these young wide receivers, man, definitely top out on my chart. Definitely impressing. Definitely winners. These guys, Jalen Tolbert, Kavontae Turpin, Jalen Brooks, dude, they're performing. They're doing good. I like what I've seen out of them. Jalen Brooks was kind of like the underneath guy, but he's shining. He's doing some good things. He's making some flashes. So these are guys. These names that I'm throwing out, these are people you want to kind of examine during preseason, with the exception of Dak, obviously, because he probably won't play preseason. But obviously speaking on our new young talent coming through. So all those receivers, man, good deal. Jalen Tolbert and Kavontae Turpin both look a lot more confident, look a lot more hip to the scheme, if I would say. They seem like they with the shiz. You know what I'm saying? Like they seem like they're finally getting with the program. Whether that's something you want to point at Kellen Moore, whether you want to point it at McCarthy, or whether you want to just say they're players who needed a little bit more time to progress and develop. I'm with it. I definitely feel like Tolbert has taken that second-year leap, which will do good. And I feel like we'll be able to see a lot more of a shine from him, because obviously last year that was he wasn't ready. We'll just put it like that. Being nice, he wasn't ready. So we're gonna step over to defense real quick. And with defense, obviously Michael Parsons off the top. Kind of started off with the goods for both, with a leading player of that side of the ball. Started off with Dak for the offense, good players. I'm gonna start off with Michael Parsons for the defense. Our two top dogs, they look good. They look solidified. A lot of people like to say, Michael Parsons, man, he's somebody that we can rely on to make that offensive line better. Because right now, Lord, right now it's scary. I'm not too impressed with O-line. But like I said, we'll get into that. Mozzie Smith, man, another standout, great standout. Best trait that I can give off for Mozzie Smith is the dude is freakish strong. He's an ogre, you know what I mean? Like, he's strong. That strength that they speak on is real. You can see it out there. A lot of these cats, a lot of these positions like running back, DT and stuff like that, you'll get a lot better showing during preseason. So that's why I'm so excited for preseason. Overshown. DeMarvion Overshown, man. That cat is looking good. Looking real good out there. What stands out for me is he's a go-getter. Those guys that seem to just always be in the play, no matter what's going on. Like, where the ball is, they're around it. Back when playing sports, we say they flock to the ball, man. He's one of those who's gonna flock and he's gonna make some plays. I believe he had an interception. The guy is nasty, man. I feel like he's had 2 or 3 interceptions throughout the whole training camp period when you're talking about doing 11-on-11s or whatnot. So be looking for him to be getting some playing time for sure this year. I heard through the grapevine that he has like what they call basically captain statuses, where he's getting plays and he's redirecting the defense. So, got the little mic in his helmet. You know what I mean? Hearing directly, I'm guessing, from Dan Quinn. So, good stuff. It's not normal for, a rookie linebacker to even get that. But anyway, moving on, man. Eric Scott, another big cat, man. Big cat name for me at cornerback. Dude is best trait for him, sticky. He's a sticky feller. Sticky, man. The dude is real sticky. Great contesting abilities. And he can be a great guy to come in and make sure that notice is taking place. I always say, man, if, knocking on wood, if something was to happen injury-wise with Trayvon Diggs or Gilmore, man, you want to know who will be able to step up and take that pressure. Ideally, from what I've seen from training camp, you'll pretty much have something like, say, for example, one of those two are hurt. You'll have one of the two that did not get hurt linked in with, I would think, Deron Bland on the other outside. He's gotten a lot of outside rep. Obviously the veterans get days where they ain't really got to go up out there and show much, like little break days, break little periods or whatnot. So I know the day Trayvon and Gilmore didn't go at it, he had reps at, first CB. That's good. So they'll have him out there. I know they had Kelvin Joseph playing a little bit of nickel. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, Kelvin Joseph just, yeah. Anyway, he's on my bad list. So before I get to him, let's go ahead and I'm going to give you my last person on defense. It's like standing out that made me go, wow, okay. You know what I mean? That'll be Quentin Bohanna. Mainly because this year is that year for me where with Quentin, it's like, yo, show me or you can kind of keep moving. Not necessarily on my end, because who am I? Who am I? But on a level of, Dallas, it's kind of like, you want to show up or, get ready to exit out. So what I've seen from him is pretty good. I like it. When I look at the nose position, I feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I feel real comfortable. With Quentin Bohanna, obviously with our veteran, Hankins, I feel good with the nose guard position. Uh, so we're looking good in the middle. When I think about the middle of the field of the defense, man, basically what I'm stating to you guys is it looks a lot more solidified, a lot better, a lot confident, and the defense overall just look a little nasty, man. It was their game, you know. Obviously, it was back and forth, but if you want to be honest with this training camp type of flow, defense be taking over, you know. And then with our type of defense is hugely solidified. Our defense is gonna be. It's gonna be good. Our defense will be good, man. I don't want to overdrink nothing. You know, we already get the heat because we think we going to the Super Bowl every year. That's like people like to say. Not all of us, dog. You know what I'm saying? For y'all to think that, not all of us, man. Some of us are realistic to the facts. But fact will be, I feel like the middle of my defense will be a lot better this year. A lot more solid this year. So let's get to the bad. We're going to start off with defense. We're talking about defense. Then we'll go ahead and go over to the offense. Only freaking person on defense that's on my bad list is Kelvin Joseph. That's about it. No cap. No, not being funny. In fact, being really humble, really nice, and trying to just, you know, not overdo what I do. But from what I'm watching in training camp, Kelvin Joseph does not look good at all. He's like that guy that the receivers can come and literally look good with. Buku time, CD Lamb straight flatten him out. Would have made Randy Moss's payday. You know, I mean, I've seen some good things, you know what I'm saying? But not enough to outweigh the bad. You feel me? Not a good showing. And I feel like his time in the NFL is about to hit that good old lane of we're done. We're done. So somebody I'm not looking forward to seeing at all preseason, Kelvin Joseph. Somebody that on the next video that we talked about when I talk about cut candidates, Kelvin Joseph. You know what I'm saying? So that's literally all I got for defense. I don't even have nobody else for defense to put on a bad list. The defense is just so beautiful right now. They're looking whole. They look good. Stopping stuff, intercepting stuff, and reading things real well. I love what I'm seeing. Leighton Vander Esch getting more coming off the edge. Yes, they got LVE coming off the edge, dog. And I'm really like, okay, let me see what Dan Quinn cooking up. You know, Dan cooking something up, and I love it. I mean, it's out there now, but let's just say, you know, training camp didn't get out there to the public. The public's not necessarily seeing training camp. Nobody would expect LVE to be coming off the edge. So I like what I'm seeing defensively. Defensively, the game looks good. Again, the only bad person for defense, Kelvin Joseph. So he can probably get ready to see the door. Like I said, when we talk about cut candidates, I definitely will speak on Kelvin Joseph because he'll be that guy that'll be first on the list for defensive players. To the bad on offense. Now that defense is out the way, I only really got like one person, so to say, but a group or a whole like position group. But that one person would be Simi Fioco, and then that position group would be the offensive line. And we can dive into why. Now with Simi is one of those cats where it's like, yo, if he could work, he would be Vito, like 100% good. But the problem is his hands. His hands is horrible. And literally for us to exit out of 2022 season, knowing that we had problems with drops, that these drops also led to interceptions, which makes our quarterback look crappy. Don't get it twisted. Some of them interceptions was definitely on Dak. But there was a few of those that came across receivers and how they went about catching that ball. Basically not catching the ball. Simi Fioco literally turned around. You're doing that in training camp. You haven't gotten a starting position. You've already been a huge question mark. And what you basically is doing is telling us, yo, I'm not one to be relied on. I'm not one to be trusted. Simi has played horrible, has done horrible, has practiced horrible. Whole training camp, all I can say is no. No, I would not put him out there. Like I told you guys, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Brooks, are doing great things. And, for Jalen Brooks to overstep Simi Fehoko, it says a lot. So I think if you're talking about cut process, the surprise cut candidate would probably be Simi Fehoko. And by the way, I know we got another Fehoko on our team that we just drafted. They're not related, guys. They're not family. But weirdly, they are same race. But no, they are they're out of there with that one. So the Simi Fehoko whole prolonged thing that's been going on, we're probably gonna see that come to an end. Simi has made quite a few drops. I've seen maybe like 3 decent catches from him, but like 6 horrible route running droppings. So, in my opinion, be looking for that. Don't be shocked about it. Simi Fehoko, horrible. Offensive line situation. Here's the steelo on the offensive line. When I say they're on the bad list, it's not everybody. It's not everybody. But there's huge question marks and huge things that are taking place that are making me put them back in spotlight. So, for example, today in practice, Tyler Beatish actually left practice. Something going on with his leg. I know it was a leg situation. He left practice, came back, and then left practice early for the remainder. Without Tyler Beatish, our center, for those who may not exactly know, without our center being there, that interior makes me scared. It is a big problem. We already have Zach Martin, who hasn't been there, which, by the way, fines are starting to add up. I know I'm thinking he's sure over $500,000 right now in fines. So the question comes in apart, if we don't have Zach, if Tyler is coming into the season on a question mark injury report, if we lose those two, if we don't have those two, the replacements pulling in after that, that's a problem. Because now you're talking about Josh Ball being thrown into guard. Y'all want to see Josh Ball again after last season? I mean, honestly. I'm not trying to disrespect the man, but that's a real big boy that's big for nothing. At this point. I mean, Josh Ball single-handedly cost us interceptions in games. So I do not trust him to come in and play anywhere on my line. We're looking at Mac Fournette, and I'm not 100. Like I have good hopes with him, but it's like in that like mid of hope. Not to mention Mozzie Smith, trash Matt, man. They had a head up against. He straight flattened him out. Went through him. So it's a huge question mark with the O-line right now. I would advise, which I can't, but I would advise Jerry to figure something out with Zach. I do understand on Jerry's end of the deal about not paying Zach Martin right now. I get it. You know, he has 2 more years left on his contract. I know, like next year, and a lot of it's not guaranteed. I think that's the biggest problem with Zach Martin. Like a lot of that money ain't even guaranteed. I think he only like guaranteed like 16 more million within like the next 2 years. Feel what I'm saying? So like I kind of get it, and then it's just like they're talking about, oh, well, look what he's getting paid. Look what these guys are getting paid. Well, like that kind of in the same boat. You feel what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people who did long-term deals who are looking at their deals saying, I ain't getting my money's worth. You know, it's it's a part of the deal. You got a long-term deal. You know what I'm saying? That money was huge when you signed. It was like probably like Dak. Dak was like, oh, everybody was head over heels about Dak. We got our own fans. Our own fans that was like, Dak ain't even worth that. Dak ain't even worth. All right, 140 mil. Now you're looking at QBs getting 150. $250 million guaranteed. $200 million deals. That's like 60 plus over what Dak was signed to. But you know what I'm saying? So you got to understand like how much the game changes. And you got to also kind of like, to love football is one thing. But when you really love it, you start to get into the whole financial part of it. This whole cap lock thing. So that's the big thing that people talk about with the Cowboys. You know, oh, y'all ain't won since this long. When we was winning, man, cap wouldn't necessarily short the case. You know, we didn't really have to worry about caps like that. But nevertheless, it's increasing every year. Every year. I believe this year, at the end of this year, if I'm not mistaken, Amazon's Prime money gets put into the cap. So, like, the cap's going to increase because the whole deal that happened last year with Amazon Prime getting Thursday Night Football. Get what I'm saying? So, the cap's going to always increase. And with the cap increasing, every player in their positioning and their money and the value that they get for that position is going to increase. Not only that, when teams break the bank to pay a person, yeah, dude, the same thing happens. So when the bank's getting broken and you're paying this QB $250 million, yeah, that next QB, they want their money. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, bro, yeah, they about to be trying to get somewhere near that. And it's going to happen, and it does happen. And so the cap gets broken, and it keeps changing and changing. Within 2 years, the cap can change so dramatically, bro. So when you look at Zach Martin and the money that he's making, keep this in mind. When he was signed one of the top guards in the NFL. He was. Believe it or not. I swear, believe it or not. Now he's looking like he's not in that top 10 no more when it comes down to pay. That's what I'm speaking of. So it's easy for people to be like, yeah, man, we need to pay him. But y'all got to keep in mind, man, it's two people, or well, not say two people, two parties that made an agreement for a certain amount of money for a certain amount of years. I kind of honor that, play that out. But then again, I'm not the one out there on the field risking my body and got a family to feed that's used to a certain type of living that I provided to them. And I'm not, so I try to stay out of all of it. So the best way to put it is, let's pray and hope Jerry and Zach can figure something out, or Jerry and Zach's agents can figure something out, because we're definitely going to need Zach Martin. If we can get Zach Martin, I think we'll be pretty much okay. We have to, at this point, look at Tyler Smith and say he will be injured, okay? And I know it sounds jacked up to just be like, yeah, that guy's going to be injured. But, yo, homie, look, I'm looking at it realistically. I'm coming from a realistic point. Name me the last year that Name me the last year Tyrone Smith came and played for us and didn't get injured through the whole season. The whole famous, I'll wait. Yeah, because you're going to be waiting for a minute. Man, it's been a minute. It's been a few great freaking years where we've had Tyron Smith the whole season. So we can pretty much foreshadow and say he's going to get injured. He is so powerful and so valuable that it's worth keeping him knowing he's going to get injured. Personally. But I feel like we'll be okay when that transpires. The O-line worries for me is interior. The interior O-line is my scare. I'm not even worried about pass rush. I'm not worried about my exterior. I'm not worried about that. But that interior, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. So if we can get that figured out, solidified before first game, first week 1, I think we'll be all right. But for right now, my bads, when you look at the entire team, with training camp, not with our starters and everybody, the only bads that I can take away from training camp would definitely be Kelvin Joseph, Simi Fioco, and the O-line. Mainly Tyler Smith is on the list only because of the little injury that he had to favor today. So we'll get a look at that and we'll find out what's going on with that. But it does make you kind of wonder, and it makes you a little nervous when you know that preseason's around the corner, season's about to start, our starting freaking center may not be 100. Not only that, freaking the guard that's right by him just may not be bugging and chopping with the team. So it does cause a little friction with the O-line and periods. So it adds to bad list for me. Last thing I want to speak on, or two more things I want to speak on. Today in training camp as well, Mozzie Smith. All right, so this is huge, but it's not huge. It's like that, like for real. It's like so. Mozzie Smith, man, he no practice today. All right, so they did a little MRI on his knee, I think it was. I wasn't able to kind of dig up too much real info on it, but I mean it's the Dallas Cowboys, so if they don't want it out there, they're not gonna put it out there. Mainly because the last thing you want is your team, your opponents getting all the scoop on what's going on. So what we do know is he left for the MRI, and that's pretty much about it. It is a worry, but it's not necessarily fully a worry. Maybe the Cowboys is just being kind of, precautionary about the situation. It's our first round draft pick, and excuse my language, but I know damn well my first round draft pick better be out there for week 1. Hell, I want to see my first round draft pick in preseason. I'm not trying to wait until we get into week 1, and then I just go, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? So I feel like, if as long as he's there week 1 for week 1 preseason, I ain't even tripping about it. We good, we ain't gonna stress it. But it is something I just wanted to bring to y'all attention. News is news, man. We'll take it and intercept it how we take it and intercept it. Last thing, kicker. So Brandon Aubrey, which I do want him to succeed. I have high hopes for this kid, man. Today he went 9 for 9 with kicks. So they put his leg to the test today. And I'm guessing with the recent push-offs of kicker, man, I guess he decided to go ahead and make sure he make them kicks. He made all 9 of them, which is good because it brought up his kicking percentile for training camp. It brought that up to like I think a 79, about a 79. Let me see. He went 42 for 53. So it brought us about a 79, not quite an 80. Not quite an 80%, but it's like a 70, 79, because mathematically we know that ain't 80%, 42 with the 43. But it brought his stuff up a lot better. It's good that he made all them kicks today because the kicker situation is, I've said it for like last 2 years, man. That's not something you sleep on, all right? When you get into these crush moment games, when you get into playoff games, and get into where it's like score to score, neck to neck, that last kick, man, can really make a difference. And if you haven't been a true Cowboys fan, have not been watching, then you just don't understand. And if you haven't, well, I take you or I advise you to go look at playoffs and just examine every playoff kick. Then you tell me if you get my flow. So we definitely need a kicker that can get with it, get jiggy with it. One of my favorite things, people always ask me, if you go to the NFL right now, man, if you would have made it to the NFL, what position would you would have played if you could have played any position? And they've always been shocked when I tell them I'll be the kicker. They be like, what? And I'll be like, yeah, man, I'll be the best kicker known to the sport. Bro, I'm telling you, practice every day, kicking. I'll be the best kicker, man. It was like, wow, I ain't got to risk my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, these football players literally come home with a lot of things I got to deal with. You getting paid $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, do nothing but kick the ball across the damn football field 3-4 times a game, maybe 2. So finding a good kicker is going to be huge, but I mean, who knows how that feels? I've never been a kicker, so I don't know how that feels, man. I don't know the pressure of that or anything. I wouldn't think it's worse than the quarterback. So I mean, get jiggy with it. We need a kicker. So I'm glad Brandon came through. When we got him, I was kind of like, well, I'm glad we got somebody, because we've been having kind of that shaky kicking problem for like the last 5 freaking years, and it's a little bit too long for a damn kicker. Outside of that, man, that's my training camp update. We're looking beautiful on the defensive side of the ball. I feel real solidified. My prediction, man, I do feel like we can have a top 5 defense yet again. But I do feel like we can probably have the best defense if things come apart like it's supposed to. Nobody cares about these Eagle fans, and everybody keep throwing the Eagles at me. Bro, y'all defense was not that good to me. Well, it was a good defense, but it was not better than my defense. If you wanted, that was my opinion. I'm allowed to have that opinion. It's not better than my defense. And y'all lost a lot of play. I don't give a damn about what you did during draft. You lost a lot of key little bodies, man. Meanwhile, us Cowboys, man, we held on. Okay, so we've lost a lot of players or we've always had question marks about. Like, think about last year around this time. It was question marks when we lost Randy Gregory, right? Or a little bit before this time. But, like, that was the best damn decision we made on the defensive side of the ball. Now we got a rotational piece of DEs or defensive ends that are, detrimental. They work like that. I love the way Dan Quinn just mentally thinks and operates. I love that old-fashioned coach. Those are coaches I grew up to in this Texas life, man, of playing football. Hard asses, but at the end of the day, more than likely them same type of coaches, they laugh and cry with you. They laugh and they feel how you feel. They want it like you want it. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm always confident and have major faith in my defense. Think about how many times last year, how many games last year where our offense just completely fluked on their possession. And our defense just, when we least expected it, came through with an interception, came through with a forced fumble, had a beautiful stop, So our defense is always able to give us some type of aspect of a surprise. And I fucks with it. So I'm good with my defense, 100% straight with defense. Offensively, I have question marks, but when we're looking at special positions, and when I say special position, let me just say skill position for our football players. People, fans that used to play football, skill positions are all your fast bodies. On offense, skill position wise, we're good, guys. Don't even trip. Like, really, don't even trip. When you look at CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, golly, bro, Brandon looked like he ain't lost no pep in the step. No pep in the step. Brandon looks good, man. Solidifiedly good. My biggest thing with Brandon was like, damn, like, he still got it out, you know what I mean? Like, he still, and that boy's still, like, shifty. To me, I don't feel like he's necessarily, I take that back. Brandon Cooks got speed and quickness, all right? So, like, that was, like, a big thing in football, man. The whole thing about speed and quick. Like, I had stand-up speed, you know what I'm saying? But I necessarily wasn't like the fastest kid out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had speed, you know what I'm saying? But I was more quick, you know what I'm saying? I was more quick. So receivers, when you look at, for example, CeeDee Lamb, let's just do it like this. When you look at CeeDee Lamb, people think CeeDee Lamb is fast. NFL-wise, CeeDee Lamb is not fast, bro. I'm just being honest. Like, CeeDee Lamb is not fast. He's quick. He's shifty. He moves his body quick, moves his feet quick, shifty. He doesn't have just like nasty top end speed. It's basically what I'm saying. He's not a Tyreek Hill out there. Feel me? Brandon Cooks definitely adds that aspect to the team. Definitely puts in a speedy rhythm to the team. We tried to do that with Turpin, but he just wasn't necessarily, I feel like, confident enough or fast enough. You feel what I'm saying? But our offense is looking a lot more fast-paced with the whole Mike McCarthy implementing more of his type of offense, kind of trying to work more, better, and closer to Dak. That is, and then with the players we've gotten, obviously, it's implemented in a lot faster offense. The offense definitely looks like they move at a better pace, much faster pace. So I will say we're good in the skill positions on offense. Like I said, man, biggest worry, O-line. Outside of that, man, that's training camp for me. I don't really have too extra much to put on that. More will come after preseason because then I'll have preseason film that I can study. Kind of can look more and see about more game day traits. And if we're just being 100%, people just perform different when the game is on the line. When there's an actual game atmosphere, these athletes show different. Like, I know a lot of people in practice, man, like, they just seem like they was that guy in practice. But then, like, playing defense, you'll see a cat, man, it's like, it's game day. It's like, damn, man, he was hitting hard, man. He was hitting everybody hard in practice, man. But then game day come and it's like forms of hesitation. Then you see running backs, man, practice, they just tearing it up, man. You know what I'm saying? Just going in. I'm like, damn, dog. Now that booger there, man, that booger there getting it, man. But then game day come along and it ain't so efficient. You know what I'm saying? So we can't really judge too much until preseason. Especially on the running back side of the ball. Because if we being honest, running backs, you can't really take much from them in training camp. I'm just going to be 100%. It's not much they can really show. It's a lot more they can show with the pads on in training camp than what they can do in like OTAs. But still, it ain't really a good look. You know what I mean? So preseason, I would definitely say watch your running backs. Speaking of running backs, man, Ronald Jones suspended. We don't know if it's steroids, but damn it, I'm gonna assume it's steroids when they say violation to the PED policy. That's basically enhanced performance type failures. So it is what it is. Dude got suspended for 2 games. All that's gonna do for me, which I wouldn't necessarily try on line. We being 100%, true fan. I didn't really I wasn't happy that he got suspended, for the 2 games. But my mindset was like, yo, cool. This will give me more chance to see Deuce Vaughn. Because I do want to see Deuce Vaughn have that break. I don't know if it was maybe just the way he got drafted, seeing him and his pops like that. Maybe it hit me a little hard. Or maybe just because I like seeing a little guy, outdo what people expect of him. But regardless, it'll give Deuce Vaughn a lot more time to show what he's capable of with Tony Pollard and a real game day atmosphere. So that is what it is. Also, with that suspension, he is able to play preseason. So we'll still see Ronald Jones in preseason. But if you want to look at the list of good and bad with training camp, obviously Ronald Jones is going to go on a good list because all the running backs, they look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, freaking training camp, dude. Let's get real. So preseason, man, we'll be able to. I'm pretty sure we're going to see all these backs. I wouldn't look at the depth chart right now. If you're being 100%, the depth chart is just it's a lie. It's just there because it has to be. But the depth chart is, excuse my language, complete bullshit. They got Ronald Jones, I think, over Deuce Vaughn. They got Rico Dow. I think he's first place. It's just weird, man. They got people that's in the wrong positions. I recently looked at, and I didn't catch it when I looked at it. I had watched Law Nation and Chad Sport and kind of watching what they were talking about it. And that's when I heard about that. And I was just like, yeah. But every year it's like that. The depth chart for preseason is always just miscrewed. And then keep in mind there's going to be a whole cutting phase that's going to happen right after preseason to get the roster down to the appropriate count. So it is what it is, man. That's been my time. Shout out to all my Cowboy fans, man. Shout out to Cowboy streamers and supporters, Law Nation, Vosh Lombardi, Chat Sports, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I know it's been a minute. Been working crazy into this construction world. But it's cool, man. There's good from it. There's bad from it. Just want to keep supporting, doing what I can do. Make sure my family can eat. And keep grinding. We're going to pray about our boys, man, because that makes everything golden and great. But without further ado, that's definitely been my time, man. Yo, appreciate it. Who? The Coleman. Well, how y'all feel?
How about those Cowboys?
I don't give a fuck what nobody think. I'm him.